Hey guys, it's TRIZE here, back with Automation, the car company Tycoon game in the most torquiest engine series. We're going to be building this V16 engine with the most torque as of this video. This is the final engine in the V category, and the last two engines are the Boxer 4 and 6 engines. Also, this engine does surpass my previous V16 build used on the Torca semi-truck that had like roughly 4,700 pounds-feet of torque. But this thing uses a lot more torque compared to my old one. So let's get things started with this here engine. So first things first, in the top left portion of your screen, you set the year from the year of 2012 to 2020 to get the most out of this engine. And after choosing the V90 degree V16 engine, you may choose any block material that you can choose from. I'm choosing magnesium for the sake of weight and everything. And for the bore and stroke for the family capacity, you square this off to 120 millimeters each to get the engine size to 21,710 cubic centimeters, or a little over 21.7 liters in total. And we're going to be using dual overhead cam 5 valves made out of whatever head material that you can choose from. For the crank cob rods and pistons, of course, they gotta be the strongest ones as possible. So we're gonna be using a billet steel crankshaft, lightweight titanium cob rods, and regular forged pistons. And with this quality slider, as you see right here, you max this out to a plus 15 for everything you see here. For the bottom, top end, turbocharger, everything to get the most performance, torque, reliability, and everything relating to this engine. For the compression, you set this to a nearly high 11.1 ratio, or it's 11.0 to 1 ratio to be specific, and the cam profile, set it as is to a 40, and VVT, of course, VVT at all cams. For the turbocharger, of course, ball bearings because it's the best one out of all of them. For the intercooler, you really jump this up to 3,200 horsepower right about here. The compressor, you really gotta raise this to a 90.5 millimeters. The turbine, up it up just a little bit to a 73 millimeters. The air ratio maxed out to a 1.40, and the max boost, same thing at 43.5 psi. For the fuel system, it's pretty much simple, but we're going to change the configuration of this here variant. So like always, we're going to be using a direct injection, but with a twin throttle configuration with a racing intake, running on ultimate fuel, with the fuel mixture maxed out to a 10.0. The ignition timing raised up just a bit to a 64, and like with other builds, the RPM limit set a little bit low to a 5,000 RPM. And last but not least, with the exhaust and everything, so we got ourselves a short cast header thanks to it being turbocharged, but this caught me off guard. We're going to be using a single exhaust system and not a dual exhaust. I'll explain that later on. And the exhaust diameter, you max this out to 203 millimeters, which that equals to 8 inches in total. And of course, no catalytic converters, mufflers, whatever, and raise that quality up, and we get to the final horsepower rating of 2,541.1 horsepower at 4,700 RPM, and the highlight of the video is the torque at 4,844.4 pounds-feet of torque at 2,500 RPM. And as we can see here, there is no knocking, valve full, piston, or torque stress whatsoever. The RPM, torque, anything right here, including this little no warnings graph, it says nothing right here. So this caught me off guard making this engine, so instead of doing a dual exhaust, you can see here, going from 4,800, will drop you down, well, it's knocking right now to 4,400. As I lowered the ignition timing just a tad, see, 4810 right there, a single exhaust, 4834, which that really caught me off guard, just changing the exhaust type for this engine to get more torque, which surprisingly, it worked. So kids, if you want to max out torque for this engine, use a single exhaust rather than a dual exhaust. It's probably the airflow hindering the performance of the engine, probably. It could be what it is. Alright, I'm about to give you here what this engine will sound like. While playing around with the manual testing mode, I'll cycle through all the graphs on here, starting from the power and torque, torque and boost, torque and efficiency, and power and efficiency. After showing you all those graphs, I'll show you the engine that is currently ripped apart except for the headers and turbochargers to watch these grow red while doing some fake gear shifts for about like 40 seconds roughly, and our video will end off right there. So right now, bring back the graph setting and give you here this engine right now. You can really, really pull anything with this engine being at over 4,800 pounds-feet of torque. You can't go nothing wrong with that, right? So that'll do it with Automation, the car company Tycoon game with this torque-heavy V16 engine. And right there, the V engine category is completely finished. Now I only got 2 more engines left to go in this season. Once I get those done, I'll wait off for version 4.2 with the turbo update to come out and revise my old engines to make them even more powerful than before. And for those who are interested in this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any videos like this in the future, which includes my automation to BeamNG Drive videos too. So this is TRIZE rising up and signing out.